So I also need to talk a little bit about um, the family yearly gathering. There's a place called Fort George that we would go to. It was a 14-hour drive from Utah up to this place. It's kind of by Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, but it's called Lake Pend Oreille. And you drive all these hours up there, and then you have to drive like a dirt trail, like a forest road around this massive lake to where the house was. And so it's a pretty huge commitment, especially when, the first time I went with my first child. He was 6 months old, and we stayed there. We were the only ones that I was the only mother of like all these siblings, and my younger ones were quite wild and, having fun. It's a summer holiday, and they're running in and out of the house, and they're slamming the door and the screen, and the, whooping and hollering and that kind of thing. And my son is very autistic and had really slept a lot more than like almost any child I've ever known. And so, naps were difficult, obviously. I mean, just even traveling and not being in a space that he was used to. Well, he didn't love that. And then there was a point where I became a single mom. After my second child was born, he just up and... After I became a single mom, he left. He just, the doctor said he had a psychotic break, and he just took off. So here I was, like, I made that drive with two young kids, and I remember, we got there. Now my siblings are at this point like a bit older, because but my kids are still like young, and they're still having to, I think maybe it was like age 5 and 7. I think that's the age that they were, maybe just slightly younger than that. Probably younger than that, but it was actually 2005. So I get the kids, like I have to bathe them, I have to get them to bed, I'm on a different, and while I haven't been every single year to Fort George, they actually started going after I went to high school. And all the time I had lived with the family, like that wasn't like the place we went or the cabin. I didn't know anything about it. And my first time was the summer of 94. That's the first time I ever went. So they eventually got traditions, and I knew that these were traditions, but I didn't, my siblings grew, and they were huge. They were, they were my brothers. One of them walked on to BYU's football team. So we're talking about very physically large and fast, in their prime. And like I said, my family was incredibly competitive, and I'm an introvert. And the second that I was able to get all my kids down, I just wanted to read. I wanted some quiet time. Here I'd, driven all this way, and dealt with the kids, and I just wanted some alone mom time. And they were like, no, you have to come play night games. And I'm like, no, I don't really, I'm good, thanks, you guys go play. And they weren't like, and it was going to be stuff like, it was hide and seek or capture the flag or these kinds of things. And the way my family played hide and seek was not like, it was like full tackle sport. It was a full sport. It was, the things that were going on. This is a huge grassy field with one tree in the center, and knees were almost like requiring surgery. Like they would dive, like they'd full out tackle, and I have to be a mom. I I am the only mom to these kids. I'm the only parent. So they wouldn't leave me alone. And so I snuck away and I went into my car, and locked myself in to keep reading. And, Candace, especially, she would not let me, they would not let me say no, and I had to go out and play. And I'm like, look, I can't afford to be injured. Like, at this point, I had just gotten a job, and I was, the sole support. Like, I had, it was my health insurance, my everything. And when I had got the job, I had said, like, I already have these days, before they hired me, these days for vacation. And they're like, yeah, that'll be your whole vacation for the next year. And I'm like, okay, thank you. But yeah, you can't afford to miss work. And then I remember that same trip, they wanted to go for this hike, that they always went on this hike. And again, like, I, first of all, wanted some quiet alone time. And second of all, it wasn't a tradition I had ever been involved in. And the hike apparently was like, they cross this stream, and it's really cold, and everybody has to like dunk their head fully immersed in the water, like upside down. And I'm like, yeah, that's, that doesn't sound fun to me. I don't want, but like, in my family, there were no boundaries. There were no, like, there wasn't a place for me to, and I wasn't like respected. The things I wanted to do, like, I was not allowed to politely decline. And that was, and that's just that, you just need to know, like, that's, I eventually go no contact, because like I realized that it's not healthy for me. And again, I have, in my own personality and in my family, it was just being an introvert is so offensive. Just being quiet is so offensive. Like, you're not a good person. There was another time we went up there and everybody decided, it was a big lightning thunderstorm, and everybody decided they were all jumping in the water. And I was like, no thanks, like, I'm fully clothed, I don't want to, no thanks, I don't want to like jump in and get wet. It was the day everybody was supposed to be leaving. I don't know, like, I'm practical, I have to do laundry, I have to like think about this, and I'm like, no thank you. And you can't say no. And they, that's the length that they're going to be coming at me, saying like, man, she's like mentally not all there. Because as I tell the story, because I chose to go no contact, which seems obvious to me, but is not. They've used those kinds of differences to say, yeah, she is mentally not stable. Like, look at us, look at all that we've done. We're highly accomplished, and like, she's not.